All right, welcome back. We are going to begin our installation of the Arrma wide track boost kit for the Granite BLX. So got a little measuring board here. I'm going to see how wide it is before we get the kit on. And looks like we're coming in real close to about 13.5 inches. See, the tire there is pretty much right on the line there. So approximately 13.5 inches. We're gonna throw this kit on, put it back on the board and see how much wider we actually got. We are back and we've got our first arm of 4 complete. The right front or passenger front, or for our friends in the UK, the driver front. All done and pretty straightforward. I probably should have went over this at the beginning, but all we do is we take off our bumper, pull out the pin, of course the pin retainer first, and then we just have the control arm screws, and then there is a little pin in the bottom here, the knuckle, that's kind of a pain in the butt to get out. But you can either use a safety pin, or if you have a real skinny Allen wrench, that's the best way. So tools you'll need for this job. I highly recommend a magnetic screw holder like this one from lifeofballin.com. Not sponsored by him. I did buy that with my own money, but it is very handy for wrenching. It's got little magnets in it to keep everything together. Awesome little piece of kit for wrenching. So the skinny one, Allen wrench right here. If you can see that tiny little hole right here, that goes in there to get that pin out. That's the most difficult part of this job so far. And then pretty much just do the shock here, your control arm screws, and then slide it all out and it's out. Pretty easy stuff so far. We'll get back to you with an update pretty quick. Oh yeah, so the tools you need for this job, 2mm, and then you're gonna need a 2.5mm, and then you're pretty much good to go. And oh yeah, definitely need some pliers. I'll be back with the finished product. Just wanted to give you a quick update. All right, we have just tightened up the last screw on the arm kit. So we've got all 4 of them on here. I just wanted to make note of something real quick, and that is, while you got everything off like this, it's a good idea to get yourself 1.5mm and check all your grub screws right here inside your hexes. I literally just had one come off in my hand, so thankfully that didn't happen while we were running out in some grass somewhere. So that is a frequent Granite activity, is popping hexes off. So just make sure every 10 packs or so you're pulling your wheels off, maybe even sooner than 10 packs, and checking those grub screws. All right, and get this all buttoned back up. We'll get some running in shortly. Thank you. I'll see you soon. All right, one more note while I'm just tightening the last screw on the back bumper is before I showed you the grub screws on the hexes. So I just wanted to point this out. This is a cheap little RC hardware kit from Temu. It cost, I want to say, about $4, $5 on Temu. And it's got some grub screws in there. And one of those hex grub screws had stripped out. And having this extra kit of hardware saved me a trip to Hobbytown. So having something like this can mean the difference between going to the hobby shop or having what you need to get the car back running. So always be prepared is a good motto to live by. Well, we got all our tires back on, bumpers back on. Let's see what we got width-wise. So we're gonna go front to front just like we measured it before. Again, this is approximate. So we went from 13.5 to about 14.5. So Looks like we gained an inch. Looks pretty good like that. It's not so wide that it's silly looking, but it's definitely going to be an improvement compared to what it was. Should stop the traction rolling. So that looks pretty dang good. All right, I'm going to quit talking, get my tools cleaned up, throw a pack in, see how it drives. All right, we got our wide arm kit installed. Let's see how it works. Unfortunately, it just started raining right before I got to film, so we're kind of a little bit slippery, so we're not really seeing that benefit of it not traction rolling. It's just kind of sliding, but either way, it's going to be fun. Well, I certainly like it a lot better. We'll give it some more tries on some off-road surfaces a little later when we get some nicer weather. But yeah, pretty cool. Thanks for checking it out. Bye.